So the whole idea here is we want to understand how we can get more appointments, right? Getting leads is one thing, and getting leads is the easiest thing for us. But what I want to help you guys understand for now is we need to start filling the holes in our bucket with regards to lead generation, right? There's loads of different holes at the moment for me, for you, whoever it may be. And those are a lot of different things like speed to lead, your nurturing campaigns, which we spoke about all the time, the qualifying your leads, follow-ups, scripts, and tonality. But the number one highest return on investment skill you can learn is how to convert a cold lead into a booked appointment. Right? And today we're going to be covering the first part of the call in order for you to actually start having meaningful conversations. The number one thing that 90% of people are getting wrong is the following, right? We are all used to dealing with warm leads. We are all used to a referral, someone from your network, someone coming to you. And we have a certain way where we speak to those leads because we have trust. Like if you can see the trust meter on this specific lead, it's very much the highest it can go. Right? People that know you are friends of friends or friends and family. Right? And we need to understand the difference between a warm lead, the lead that you know, versus a lead that doesn't know you, a cold lead. Okay? Because just think about it like this. Imagine you ask a friend, right? Do you want to come back to my place and just come back to my house and chill? We'll just have a drink and watch a movie. That doesn't sound weird, right? Because you know the person. And imagine doing the same thing to a random person you've never met before. You're going to a bar and saying, do you want to come back to my house and chill and have a drink and watch a movie? They're going to say you're a weirdo and have like, no, thank you very much, right? So what I want you guys to realize is that why would you speak to a lead that doesn't know you in the same way you would speak to someone who does? And why would you ask them directly for an appointment without engaging the lead, asking the right questions, qualifying the lead, understanding their actual problem, providing value, and most importantly, just building some trust? Because this is what most people get wrong when they start running ads on Facebook. Now, I know you guys in the community know this more than anyone, which is you have to have a skill to actually convert that lead, and we shouldn't be speaking to them in the same way we speak to people that we know. But I really want to drive this home, and I really want you to have the mindset that it takes a completely different skill to convert a cold lead to an appointment than it does getting someone that you actually know. Okay, so that's the reason why most of the time most agents say, I tried Facebook ads, I tried Google ads, I tried TikTok, I tried cold calling, and the leads suck. Right? The reason is that the skills and the actual skills that you have to actually convert a lead is not in the right sort of frame of mind. So what I want to cover first is the pre-call mindset. Okay, the whole idea here is that we need to understand our client and our market. If you're going to run an ad for a villa in a specific location, you need to understand everything about that location and everything about that specific person who's going to want to buy that property or that client. Right? Who are we talking to? That's why we always drive home before running ads. We need to understand who our dream client persona is. Some of you work on luxury properties one week, and then you try first-time buyers another week, and then you try property investors another week. And you try different locations as well. And it's impossible for you to see success like that because you are not an expert for one specific type of client. And when you're going to be meeting these people and speaking to these people, you're not going to be able to provide value because you don't know who you're talking to and you don't know really what you're selling. So the most important thing is understand your client first before you do any lead generation, understand the market and be an expert in that market so that then we can lead with value. Okay, so the whole idea here with regards to the principles for effective calls is the following. The mindset going into these calls need to be, I'm going to start with giving, not selling, because this is what opens the door to receiving, where we're going to be qualifying and prospecting as a doctor's mindset. We're going to be trying to understand and uncover what their real problem is before setting any appointments. I know a lot of you go on appointments and you're happy you're going on appointments, but really and truly, are you wasting your time with people who aren't qualified? Have you understood what their current situation is? Have you understood why they want to sell their home? Have you understood where they want to live and why they want to live there and what they want to achieve if they buy that home? Right, so the whole idea here is that we shouldn't be setting appointments and like wasting our time unless we know and understand the problem that our client currently has. Don't think about it as my job is to sell a home. As a real estate agent, your job is to uncover and solve a problem for your clients. It could be selling their home, it could be finding a new home, whatever it is. But if you don't know what that problem is, we're not going to be able to actually see conversion, see results. Right? And the last thing is conviction and confidence in the way we speak to our clients. If we're going to cold call someone, if we're going to call a lead that actually showed interest in a property, If you are not confident in the area, if you don't know that person, if you don't understand their problem, you are not going to be able to sound confident and have conviction in your tone. And what that's going to result in is that your leads and the people you're calling are not going to believe that you can actually help them, because you're going to sound like every other real estate agent that called them that day. So the whole idea here is the only way you have conviction and confidence in the way you speak is by having confidence in your process, knowing who you're selling to, and knowing the actual market. Because if you have those three things, then you are confident because you know you can actually help them. If you don't, you're always jumping from client to client and different locations. You are just going to be hoping that this person likes the property you show them. And that's going to give you inconsistent results. All right. And the most important thing to remember is that 80% of your success, guys, will be dependent on the first 5 seconds of the call. Like, think about how many calls you get from real estate agents, or if you own a property, or people cold calling you. The first 5 seconds of the call are going to be the deciding factor of you actually having a meaningful conversation. Right? The first couple of seconds is what's going to be the deciding factor to a meaningful conversation. If you get this wrong, you will get hung up on, you'll be told to fuck off, you'll be told to stop bugging me, you'll be told I clicked on it by mistake. Right? Because the opening seconds decide if a conversation takes off or not. Okay, so it's really important that we know our scripts and we know every word we're going to say and why we're actually saying those words. So these are three main things I want to discuss today. Firstly is knowing your script. You need to know your script when you're calling your leads, of how you're going to engage the lead and how you're going to start the conversation. Because only knowing your script is going to enable you to ask certain questions in a specific type of way. The second thing is how it's delivered, the tonality of your voice when you're actually calling and speaking to these people. And the third thing is objection handling over the phone, knowing how to get to the pain and uncover the true objection that your leads actually have when you're speaking to them. So guys, I want you to remember this and drive this home. Your delivery in the way you speak to these leads over the phone call is where the money is at. Like, if you read off a script and you're not prepared about what you're going to say and you have no intention with the words you're saying, you're going to be perceived as very low value and you're going to come across as very annoying as a person. Right? You're another real estate agent. And not having the right tone will destroy your chances of having a meaningful conversation as well. Right? So like I said, the only way you have conviction and confidence is by knowing your clients and knowing the market before anything else. So it's really important, before we do any of this lead generation, we know who we're selling to and how we can actually help them. So let's just do a little role play right now. The only feedback I'll give you there at the end is that we want to get to the point and want to get to that question in a curious tone before we say, oh, I'm Elidian from Zanzi Homes. How are you doing? How was your day? Most people are going to be busy. So it's like we want to get to why we're calling them as quickly as possible. But that was great. Okay, so I'll give you some more feedback afterwards. So Thomas, from your end, you want to just jump on and see how you would do it from your end? The way you asked the question was great. The way you opened up was great because you made it sound as if you know me. So the most important thing I want to drive home is from the first part of the call, which you did really well, Thomas, is your actual tonality when you open up. So there's something called upward inflecting tonality. So it's making people feel comfortable and act as if they're your friend. Because if I jumped on the call, right, and I told you, hi, this is Sam from Zanzi Homes. You clicked on an ad on Facebook. You want more information about the property and Salema that you clicked on. Right, that's very monotone and very low value from what you're trying to do. So what we always want to do first is upward inflecting tonality. Hi, Thomas.
Hi, yes, it's Thomas.
And you're going to say, who are you most of the time?
Who is this, please?
Hi, it's Sam. Listen, I'm just calling because I can see you showed interest in a Salema townhouse. Just want to make sure, did you manage to get all the information on WhatsApp? So you see what I mean there? What I'm trying to do is make it as if you are my friend. Show it as if like I had treat it like you're calling a lead, like a long lost friend that you haven't spoken to a while. Hey Tom, alright? Just make it seem as if you know each other. And then afterwards, the way you ask the next question needs to be recalling on what they clicked on. And you see how the way I ask the question, rather than saying, you clicked on an ad on Facebook and it was about a Salema townhouse. Did you click on it? I just wanted to call to see if you wanted more information. You're sort of lowering your value there on the call. What you want to do is, the way we ask the questions in a curious tone will allow the conversation to start flowing. So it's like, listen, I'm just seeing you showed interest in a slim penthouse on Facebook, right? Just want to make sure you have to have the right tone of voice when you're speaking to these leads. And that's what we need to start focusing on, is that every word we say and everything we do on these calls is with intention. Remember, you are paying for these leads. You are spending your own money to get these leads into your system. And sometimes just changing your script and understanding why you're saying certain things to start the conversation is what's going to make a difference to actually you booking more appointments. Because if I called you and I said, "Hi Thomas, this is Sam from Frank Salt. I'm just calling you because you clicked on a property in Slip, and you already lost me there, right? Because we didn't start a conversation where it's feeling like you're speaking to a real person. That feels like a salesperson is calling me, or like a sales rep is calling me. And the moment a person feels like they're trying to be sold to is the moment that you've lost them. So we want to make it seem as if it's a conversation we're having with each other, where you know the person, you're asking curiosity in the way you actually ask the question, even if you know the answer. You know they clicked on the ad, you know they filled out the form, but it's like, listen, I'm seeing your name. You just showed interest in a Slimmer penthouse I'm promoting in Slimmer. Does that ring a bell? Like, did you get into your WhatsApp okay? Then you start the conversation from there. But just remember, the tonality and the curiosity in your voice is the most important thing that's going to actually help you get more appointments booked in. Right? And the third most important thing is the way we actually communicate. It's not what you say and what script you have, it's how you actually say it. Right? If you know your clients, if you understand their problems, if you believe you can actually help them, if you have the right process from yourself to actually get your client to their specific goal, then you will sound confident without actually trying. You won't sound like a salesperson trying to sell them on something because you believe you have the right solution for them. And that's why it's really important to go back to understand who you're selling to make sure we know our scripts and we actually believe in what we're actually saying. Does that make sense for you guys for so far? I don't want to go to too much advanced details on how to speak and what to say and how it's delivered. But what I just wanted to drive home was that from that point of view, which is tonality and confidence and curiosity in your tone when you're actually speaking to these leads. Remember, we're speaking to people that don't know us. We want them to actually like us and have a real conversation. And if we're calling up people and stuttering on the phone and not knowing what to say next and not knowing where to take the conversation, then we are going to lose every single time. So it's up to us to guide the direction of the conversation in the right place as the experts on what we do. So yeah, the next thing is objection handling, right? What happens when people say, "Oh, I'm too busy," or "I clicked on the ad by mistake," or "No, I'm not interested right now"? What are you guys currently doing to actually do this? Now, I know I had a call a couple of weeks ago with LEDN where we actually worked on this, but do you guys have any processes that you follow? Like, for example, Jonathan, I know you're here on the call. Nice to see you again. So from your point of view, do you follow any framework to actually objection handle when it comes to if when you call someone and they say, "No, I'm too busy," or "I clicked on it by mistake"? Do you do anything from your end? Like, do you have a system you follow? Okay, so on the call, you just say, "Okay, cool, I'll follow up with you another time."
Yes, I keep it
brief. And it's really important now to understand your job here on these calls is to understand and handle objections. If someone says, "I clicked on the ad by mistake," what does that actually mean? Someone doesn't click on an ad by mistake. It's impossible. They have to fill out a form, put in their budget. They didn't do it by mistake. They just don't want to talk to you right now. Or they're scared to actually speak to you, or they don't want to have a conversation. So remember, whenever we're calling these leads, there's going to be a sales resistance. There's going to be a barrier everyone puts up. And I always like to say, like, when you go to buy shoes or you go to buy a bag, whatever it may be, when the sales rep asks you, "Can I help you?" You're like, "No, I'm just looking." And then 5 minutes later, you buy something. What I'm going to show you guys now is how to uncover where they're currently at, which is one of the most important skills to learn. And we use this by using a framework called AEQ, meaning we acknowledge the question and the objection. We use strategic empathy, where we relate to them, and then we ask another question, right? Someone says, "I'm not interested in buying a property right now." Right? You would typically say, "Okay, cool, no worries, thanks for calling, and I'll follow up with you on WhatsApp." What we should do instead is uncover what that actually means, which is completely understand. I click on properties sometimes myself on Facebook because I just want to see what the photos look like, right? And then say yes, and it's like, "Oh, cool," but just to make sure, are you completely off the market, never looking to buy a property, or is just now is not the right time for you? Uncover where they're at. "No, listen, right now I'm too busy and I'm probably in 2 months or 3 months." Okay, cool. And just to make sure, so I don't bother you, what type of property are you looking for? Is it similar to the one you just clicked on, or what would a dream property look like for you? Okay, it'll look like a townhouse in Slima. So what you want to start doing, you went from someone who's not looking to buy today to breaking that down with a framework to understand actually what they're looking for. With the questions you ask as well. Are you completely never thinking of buying a home in the coming months? No, I am, but I just now's not the right time. Right? So always, when you're on these calls and they throw an objection at you, you should almost get excited. Where you're at a point where you say, okay, I've heard this one before, let me use this. Let me use this line of questioning. Let me try this route. Let me try this question. And that's how we're going to be optimizing. The way we optimize our ads, right? We're looking at the numbers, how many leads I got, what my cost per lead was. It's the same way we need to look at our scripts when we actually call these leads. Because this is where the money is made. You can get 500 leads, but if you don't know how to convert them, then you're not going to actually make any sales. So I want everyone to understand this with regards to handling objections and uncovering the real objection, which is acknowledge, strategic empathy, and ask another question.